Wow, that's fast. Good morning, ladies. Happy Monday. Welcome to the start of another week and all the fun technology things that have been happening in my world. Thank you for being here. This morning, we're talking about the wealth room. And this conversation is really about why women build faster together when they're in the right space with the right women. The right space, the right women, and we build faster when we do it together. All right. So as you know, thank you for being here wherever you're watching. But last week I did not go live because right as soon as about to go live, I had a fun experience with Facebook, and the rest is history. So wherever you're watching this morning, thank you for being here. All right. I went to an event several years ago, and as I walked into this room, it was very clear to me that these were like the movers and shakers in business. I'm talking about high level conversations, money movement, idea sharing. And I remember going back to my room and just pinching myself, like, how in the world did I get invited to this event? And it was just, honestly, it just left me in awe. And after about day one or two of like being in complete awe, I finally said to myself, wait a minute, there's a room of about 60 people. We're having these high level business conversations. Everyone's just generous with their knowledge and their idea sharing and their investment opportunities. But there were probably less than 3 to 5 women, of which I was the only woman of color. And so I remember looking around that room and going, yeah, this is not right. Why don't we have rooms like this as women? Why don't we have access to this kind of idea sharing, investment opportunities, all the things? And so in true Tasha fashion, I decided, well, I'm going to go create this room. I will go create this room. And so I did. But one of the things that has not been lost on me, having done business for the last 15 years, all around supporting women, I've realized 3 or 4 things that I want to share with you this morning. Number one, if you are trying to go it alone as a woman in business, I'm just going to tell you straight and plain, in my experience, in my own life, as well as watching other women do this, isolation is expensive. Isolation is expensive. When you are in the right space with the right women, knowledge, experience, and energy compounds. You know the compound effect? It's like because we all came together uh, as women, especially as women, I'm going to talk a little bit more about why that is so, but because we all came together as women, we share information, we share energy, we share knowledge, we share investment ideas. And what starts to happen is my business starts to grow faster, your business starts to grow faster, you start getting more energy because the collective, when we come together, and again, everything hinges in this conversation on the right women in the right space. So I have learned that one of the secrets to my success has been that I have surrounded myself with the right women, women who are willing to share energy, to share knowledge, to share ideas, to support me. And I've literally, maybe sometimes I'm like at a 2 out of 10 energetically, but because I'm in that environment with other supportive women, I get the benefit of their energy, their wisdom, their knowledge, their ideas. And so it compounds for me. I started realizing, wow, I'm going faster than most people who have access to this. So it's going to take you longer if you try to do it alone. And I would just love, if you're watching live, wherever you're watching, if you could just type so that your brain remembers isolation is expensive. This is another thing that high achieving women do, is we idolize independence. I'm a strong, independent woman. And so we try to do it all alone. Especially when things are rough and we can't figure our way out. I will be the first one to be a crybaby and call my women in my circle and be like, I'm stuck. Help me. I can't see my way through this. Can I borrow your energy for a little for a little while even? So think through that. And every one of you, wherever you're watching, again, if you would just type, isolation is expensive. If you're a woman in business, you don't want to try to do this on your own. Um, one of my clients, she was about to launch her business, and she had an event getting ready to launch, and she did not have the number of registered attendees as she needed to cover the event, or honestly to make her energy feel like, wow, this is successful and it's going to be worth it. And luckily she was in one of my programs, and I said, why don't you just ask your goddess sisters, invite them? And they all showed up for her. Now here's the thing, she got the energy. She was able to ride the energy of all of these women showing up in support for her event, and her business was launched, right? The event went off, and otherwise she would have just canceled the event, not done it. You know what's going to happen. You go down that like rabbit hole for a long time, and it takes forever to get back up. So I just want to encourage you, again, find the right space, find the right women. You're going to go faster when you have those things in place. All right. The other thing is, when you're in the right space with the right women. I call it the wealth room. One of the things that I've noticed, even this happened to me just this weekend, your vision, you have a little dream, and you are in the right space where it gets shared and curated, you get feedback, you get ideas. But one of the magical things that I notice when the right space is present and women are sharing their visions is that your vision begins to expand. I see this every year. We have a live event, and we have this part of the event where people share their ideas and actually offer it to other people, and the light bulbs in the room are just going off like crazy, because you start to realize, wow, I'm actually kind of playing small with this vision. Or somebody will just, like a woman who has your best interest will say, this is a brilliant idea, but it could be this, and this. Or because you're around other women who are big dreamers and you're hearing the level at which they're willing to play, you start going, well, wow, like I'm really playing it small with this little vision of mine. Or if nothing else, I really need to get going here. Like they're willing to jump and leap and go after their dream. I'm really inspired by this for my own vision. So one of the things that is true in spiritual law is, where two or more are gathered, it says there's a presence of God where two or more are gathered. And one of my favorite books is The Game of Life. And there's a section where she says, if another person, actually she was using the example of how men succeed. They always say, look at a successful man and you'll find a strong woman behind him. But the idea is that woman is holding the vision for her husband. And I'm just saying, why aren't we doing it for each other? Like, yeah, I hold the vision for my husband, absolutely. But what I really want to talk about is, can we gather in a space where we hold the vision powerfully, each other's vision, we hold it for each other. And we're willing to say, this is a brilliant idea. And I'm telling you, it could be like this, this, this. My husband likes to use the word kaboom, and every time he tells me an idea, I show him the 10x version, or I speak back to him. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Again, this is just one of the things that I notice when the right women are together in the right space, wealth gets created. Wealth of knowledge, wealth of energy, wealth of dream and vision expansion. It is amazing. Another one of my clients, I remember several years ago, she called me. I was actually in the parking lot of the grocery store. I remember the exact day. And she was like, I'm about to go just give up. I've sacrificed everything for this dream. And now my father-in-law just passed. I'm over my head financially. I've got all of these courses. And she was really ready to just call it quits and go be logical and go back to the norm. And just by having me to call, I remember saying, no, You can't do that. And even if it's in honor of your father-in-law and his belief in the vision that you had, you have to keep going. You might not be able to go 100% for a few weeks because you have to mourn, but you can't stop. Fast forward several, I think last year, she came into my group. The same woman came into my group because she had launched her business. She's one of very few minority owned wine producing business in the country. She had investors. She was able to fundraise all the investment that she desired. She has a national distribution. She opened her dream community center to bring people together over wine. I mean, like her massive, massive vision that she nearly walked away from that day has all been realized. And so, in that one moment, and I know I was the person in that one moment, but this particular woman, I know she is surrounded by several other women who helped her to hold that vision and to even expand it beyond what she originally thought. Right? So start looking around for who are those women in my life? Where do I have that in my life? I can tell you for me, it has been game changer. This past weekend, I messaged one of my friends. Another wonderful Facebook thing happened. And I messaged my friend and she could only talk for 15 minutes. And we were done with the conversation. I texted her after that for something, and she came back with, hey, have you thought about your vision looking like this? And I was like, what? I mean, I am a massive visionary, but the answer was no, I've not thought about it like this. And she was able to redirect and say, maybe all of this is happening to guide you to the size of your vision, and you keep trying to put this vision in this container, and it's just telling you it can't fit anymore. Right? So think about that. Do you have women in your space, in your circle, who are willing to not only hold your vision with you, but support you in seeing a bigger version of it? The other thing is, this is number 3, everything that you desire, I have found, exist at the table when you're in the right space with the right women. And I've proven this many times. One of my favorite stories is we were on a goddess retreat with my ladies, and we had a round table where it was, every woman at the table needed to say, this is a thing I really need to move forward. Every woman had to say a thing. And every single woman seated there got support or a connection to the answer that she was seeking or the thing that she needed. And there's one woman in particular who said, I was about to put my need on the table, and it was really small. But listening to everybody else and honoring my intuition, this is crazy and wild, but I'm going to put it out there. And she had an event that was coming up. She needed large corporate sponsors, right? Of which you would think, well, there's nobody in this room, right? We're all, medium-sized businesses. There's nobody in this room. There's no large sponsors. And she was just hoping maybe somebody here has a connection for me. And so we asked her, well, why are you saying large sponsors? How much money are you looking for from these sponsorship? And she said it. And guess what? She got it right there at the table. So one of the things that I know, again, I have seen women spend their time and energy in the wrong spaces. And I'm not bashing anybody's friendships. But I'm just saying, make sure you have your space, your group of women that are also on the same mission, purposeful. Just like an image that I love is that one with the pack of wolves all walking together and how they stay protected because they're all on the same mission. Make sure you have groups of women like that in your life. And then the very last one, which is biological. And this is all about feminine power. We have what's called oxytocin. When we get together, right, it's called a bonding hormone. It gets emitted. When women come together, this oxytocin gets emitted. And it's called a bonding hormone because I believe when we get together and this hormone gets emitted amongst us, we're in all that oxytocin vibe, right? we actually create a energetic, feminine, energetic, sacred space where I believe dreams get nurtured, dreams get created, ideas get created in the womb, in the sacred space of women gathered in feminine power, all with this bonding energy between us. When I have been in the right space with the right women, one of the things that I realize is that's where some of my biggest ideas have been born. Yes, I might curate it when I'm on my own, but when I get in that space and we're all idea sharing, I start to like get deposits of all of these other angles to the vision and to the dream. And now I'm in that energetic space where I'm being supported for it to happen faster. So this morning, that is my call to all of you, is to really remind you that when you are in the right space, I call it the wealth room. I really do. It's where feminine power rises, and together as women, I know that when we stand in support of each other, we will go faster. If you try to do it alone, again, isolation and independence is expensive. It's expensive in time, resources. Sometimes, honestly, it's expensive because you don't pursue your dreams because you're trying to do it alone and you just can't figure your way to it, or you get discouraged and you just don't follow through. So isolation is expensive, but when you are around the right women, you actually give yourself access to what I call the wealth room. That's my share this morning. Just a reminder, don't do it alone. And if you are looking for a space like that, every year, those of you that follow me on social media, you will notice in December, I have an event. It's always invitation only. I seriously ask my team, I make a list of everyone I want to invite, and those are the only people that get invited to this event. And you'll see me posted on social media, then you'll wonder, I never saw a promotion for that. How did I miss it? How did those people end up there? So, because I know that we are in some interesting times right now, and I know that standing in support of each other is more crucial. We need to bond. We need to support each other. We need to stand for each other's dreams. We need to make sure that nobody walks away from their dreams right now. We need to make sure that we're supporting each other to go all in, like go more in for your dream than you ever have. This year, I would like to make a public offer that says, do you think this event is the space? Being in this room, the event is themed the Feminine Wealth Revolution. If you believe, you know what, I want to experience that. I want to see what it's like to be in luxury with high achieving, heart centered women for 3 to 4 days. I want to be celebrated. I want somebody to just hear me and my dream and give me ideas and support and cheer me on. And I want to be able to do the same thing. If you know that you're that woman, then I want to invite you to type the word invite in the comments. Hang on, let me put it up here. Type the word invite. And I know some of you are watching on Instagram and YouTube. If you're on Instagram, it will work too. Just type invite. We are going to allow you to fill out a form to say, I would like to be invited to this event. So it's always invitation only, but today only, I'm giving you the chance to say, Tasha, I'd like to go to that event. I really need a space like that, especially end of year where I'm planning my new year. I want to be surrounded by high energy, high vibe women. Type the word invite, check your DM, fill the form out. We will then reach out to you and say, here are the details. Now, here's the thing. I had my team, remember I was supposed to go live with this message last week and it didn't work out. So I had them extend. We had early bird pricing end in May. I have said, there are some women in my community who would really love to be at this event. And so I want to give them the opportunity to have the early bird pricing, which is for as little as $250 a month, you can be at this event, right? So it ends tomorrow. Unfortunately, we didn't have last week, so it ends tomorrow. Type the word invite, check your message. We're going to follow up with you. But just know, like, I'm ready, I'm in, I'm there. I want to get this early bird pricing and we'll take care of everything else. All right. Happy Monday. Go have an amazing rest of your week. Um, my heart is just, I just want to be transparent in saying last week was really rough for me. I tried to go on live, and all of my 15 years of my life, my memories, chronicled publicly, was just gone. It was erased. And the thing that has taken me through was not my husband, not my kids. It was the women in my life who could understand the emotional upheaval of that loss. Not somebody that was just going to be totally like, oh, well, it's Facebook, do this, do that. No, other women who could understand the emotion of that. But here is what was even more powerful: the women in my life stood so powerfully for me. They didn't allow me to play victim, right? They were like, yeah, we understand and we'll hold space for your emotion. But they all supported me by saying, Tasha, this is a redirection to something bigger. And I don't know about you, but those are the women I want in my life. I cherish that. I'm grateful I have it. And I want it for you too, right? Which is why I'm inviting you to this event, because I know the women in this room. This truly is the wealth room at this event, and it's a very luxurious space, a luxurious event. The women in this room, these are the women you want surrounding your dream and holding you supported, loved, and celebrated on your purpose, your mission, your vision, whatever it is you have for your life. I want that for you too. All right, everyone. Have a great Monday. Bye.